I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I coach people. I'm a career and leadership coach. I help people during their job search transition. I help them into their new role and perform at a high level. I stumbled into an article this morning from a woman named Hannah Morgan, who's known as the Career Sherpa. And the article is entitled 8 Lessons to Learn After Being Fired. Now, as I record this, we're dealing with good economic times with labor shortages. Unemployment nationally is down to 3.7%, and there are places like the one I live in where it's as low as 3.1%. I know of so many employers in my area that are finding it hard to find new hires that are qualified to do jobs. And even in the most basic of roles, it's hard to find people who will show up for work on time. So in some respects, it's easier to find work, but that's not your problem. Your problem is making the right choice for you. Now, here are 8 lessons that Hannah points out in this article. And number 1 is find the right fit. As she says, this is your chance to interview your future manager or employer with more discerning questions. Use what you've learned from your last experience to screen for qualities and characteristics you know you'll work well with. Be on the lookout for red flags or subtle clues based on answers, behaviors, or rumors on the street. Smart question. The one thing I'll add on to it is the fact that you don't want to be in a situation where you're asking questions that signal to them that you've had a particular problem in your past. So just be on the lookout for how you frame your questions. Number 2 is don't make the same mistake. And thus, you want to learn from this experience and not repeat it. What was it about your last job that may not have made it a good fit, she writes, or what could you have done differently when faced with a difficult work situation that you can apply the next time around? And she concludes this section by saying, as Winston Churchill said, all men make mistakes, but only wise men learn from their mistakes. Number 3 is keep your eyes wide open. Let me restate that because I want to give her line. Keep your eyes open. Losing a job should also teach you to keep your eyes open to what's going on inside a company. Are there signs of declining business? Has a key client left, or has there been a change in leadership or a merger or buyout? All these things basically translate into change coming. When armed with that information, you can begin exploring new opportunities. Smart lesson. And that links in very nicely with the next thing she points out. Always be open to new opportunities. I'm not going to read what she says. I'll just use my own statement. The person who gets ahead isn't always the smartest or work the hardest, although those are great qualities to have. People get ahead by being alert to opportunities. Sometimes those are internal to an organization. More often than not, they're external. Keep your eyes and ears open, and when opportunity presents itself, do not ignore it. Number 5, try harder, but there are no guarantees. Absolutely true. Even the hardest working employee is not protected from a layoff, but employees who exceed performance expectations and have good working relations with the managers generally fare better during times of change. I'm going to modify this a little bit because clearly we know from the last big recession, there are no guarantees. She is absolutely right about that. And people who perform better or have good relationships with their boss stand a chance, but often their boss is operating at too low a level to really have impact because decisions are made 4 levels up from them. As a result, I think this is the kind of advice that, well, you just want to do your best. And part of that is your relationship with your boss can be a difference maker in your networking. So even if you do get laid off, he or she will be happy to recommend you for other situations rather than what you do has a better impact on whether you'll get cut from an organization. Next thing is to stay positive. She also says, move on and don't fight it. And I know from my time in recruiting, so many people got argumentative about the decision. They couldn't believe it. They fought to keep their jobs. You are done. It's over. And the last thing, which I think is also very important, is know how you're going to explain it. Now, if you're asked about your reason for leaving the next job on an application, very simple. Laid off or fired, she says, can have a negative connotation. A better choice is reduction in force, or you might be able to use position eliminated. You want to have someone who will back that up if asked about it, but clearly you don't put fired. Okay, so when you're asked during a phone interview how to what happened that prompted your departure, keep your answers short and to the point. You don't need to go into every detail or defend your position. What you want to be able to do is keep your answers short and to the point, so that you're not over talking a situation and setting up a red flag. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you did and you're watching on YouTube, I'm just going to simply say, click the like button. Let someone know that this is worthwhile. You can also leave a comment, of course. And as well, if you want to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, see that little icon down there? Click on that and you'll be able to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Also want to mention that I have the #1 show in Apple Podcasts about job hunting, and that's No BS Job Search Advice Radio. Subscribe to that show. You'll get notices daily because I do the show daily with advice that will help you. Also, I have a ton at my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. Visit the blog and go exploring. Like I said, a lot there that will help you. Hope you have a great day. Take care.